Hello everyone and welcome to the today's folklore video. So in my last video I spoke about a Japanese like ghost folklore, and in this one I'm going to be talking about one that takes place in the UK where I am from, and this one is quite an interesting one because my grandparents actually own this. Nothing bad's happened to them, they do still currently have it. So I thought it pretty cool. So in the UK, I will go more into it, but basically in the UK there's these photos, well not photos, paintings, sorry, and of a crying toddler, and I'm not sure why they're so popular, but it was really popular at one point. And I remember when I was younger, when I was like a mini scarlet, when I was a kid, and I used to ask my nan and granddad, why do you have a picture of a crying kid on the wall? They used to say, well, that's what happened if you don't behave yourself, and we have to tell you off, basically. So it was fun to hear about that, and I did hear that there's a story to it, but they didn't tell me when I was a mini scarlet. They waited till I was a bit of an older scarlet, and then they told me the story that basically they're linked to fires. So my understanding of it, what always has been, that basically back in the day, so it was in the 80s I believe, these photos were, well, these paintings were like all the rage, and there's various different artists that have painted different ones of different children crying. Again, I'm not sure why they're so popular, but they are. And the photo that's in my thumbnail is the one that my grandparents still have to this day, and they still got it up in their living room. But yeah, so the story is that if you have this painting in your house with just the boy, then a fire will burn down your house, basically. Now my grandparents have had this photo like years. I mean, I'm talking over at least 30 years because I'm 28 now, so yeah, at least over 30 years because it was before I was born. So yeah, they've had it for a really long time, still got it now. They only have the boy, no fire as of yet, touch wood. But yeah, so it's quite an interesting one, to be fair. There is a story that if you get the crying boy and crying girl, then this prevents the fire from happening. What we always used to talk about was, our theory is, because it's a painting, it has like a thicker rope behind it, so we reckon that the fire probably burnt the walls and the rope, and that's why the painting always survived, because that was the only thing that used to survive these fires as well. And it did actually cause a lot of fear in the UK as well. So let me just see what this says a bit more about it, because obviously, even though I heard this growing up, and it's quite funny that my nan and granddad do still own this piece of history, I thought it'd be good to see where it started, the artist potentially. So let's have a look. So it says that several artists followed the trend of painting crying toddlers, and some of these artists include Dallas Simpson, Anna Sinkerson and Irene Spencer. It's thought that the original crying boy, so the one my grandparents have, was painted by a Spanish artist called Bruno Amido, who painted under the name of Giovanni Broglin. Giovanni met an orphan named Don Bonino. Bonino had been nicknamed the Devil Child, as it was said wherever he went, fire started. Taking pity on the young boy, Giovanni took him in and painted his portrait. Some time later, the artist's house burnt down and he threw the orphan back onto the streets. Meanwhile, the painting's popularity increased, and soon an array of crying children graced walls in the UK, until that was its connection to several family tragedies began to prick the public's interest and deepest fears. In 1985, Ron and Mary Hall from Rotherham in the UK were devastated when a house fire took hold and it burnt to the ground. The only thing that survived, their crying boy painting. The Sun newspaper, so that's like a tabloid here in the UK, it was like famous. I don't know if you guys have heard of it, for the Page 3 girls. Basically, they don't do it anymore, but back in the day, back in the day when I was a little kid, they used to have page 3 models that used to just chill the bras and tops off, so I've just got the boobs out, and I was in a newspaper. So yeah, a bit weird, but there we go. But yeah, so it's just a tabloid paper basically, the Sunnies, that's in the UK. So they covered the story, and pretty soon hundreds of other people were contacting them to say about their own misfortunes, putting their fires and family bereavements to a similar crying painting. In response, the Sun actually offered for the nation sending their prints, and they would hold a mass burning to get rid of the UK of its bad luck. And it was actually one of the page 3 models, Sandra Jane Moore, who actually took a picture as there was burning all the prints. So yeah, so that's quite funny, to be fair. That, you know, it did actually go this far. People were linking the Crying Boy paintings to actual real life fires and anything else that went wrong basically in a household. I just find that really mad, especially because I grew up with this painting as well. I mean, it always scared me, but I thought that was because, like, you know, I better not misbehave or else I'll be like that kid. So yeah, it's very interesting, to be fair. I've always found that story quite interesting, especially because I do have it when I used to tell people at school, because here in the UK it is quite well known story. I know that I went to like this ghost museum in Nottingham, which is another area of the UK, and they have like different like objects that has to do with ghosts and stuff like that basically. And I saw one of the crying child's portraits in there, and it had about that. So it is quite a well-known story in the UK, and I mean, people did believe it, especially because, you know, that would be the only thing that would survive the painting. Like I said, this was just a theory that we had in my family, that, you know, it could have been connected to what was helping support the painting, and that maybe the fire got to that, and that's why that would be the only thing that would survive. But yeah, I mean, it's quite a weird one, but it's one that I'm used to, and I thought it'd be quite interesting to cover it over here on my channel. But yeah, and supposedly the author that the Spanish artist did do the portrait of and ended up kicking him out, did actually die in the fire as well. The body was too badly burnt to be identifiable, so the officers had to get the ID from the car. But yeah, I mean, it's quite an interesting one, and on this website about it as well, I can see that it recommends a book called Just Above the Mantelpiece by Wayne Hemingway, and that has all paintings by Kitsch from the 50s onwards that include Crying Boy and Crying Girl pictures, and that, you know, that they feel like it's safer in a book than actually being on the walls. But yeah, so let me know what you guys think of this video. If you want me to cover anything particular, let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to like and subscribe. It really helps me to know if you guys enjoy these folklore sort of videos. Like I said on my last creepypasta video, I'll upload a good few and then see how they do compared to my creepypasta ones, and then if they do well, I'll carry on doing them. If not, I'll just keep it to myself. I'll just read them in my spare time. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Like and subscribe, that would be great. Really appreciate it, and I'll see you all in the next one.